KATC Weather Lab. Here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, the heat is on, the biggest heat wave of the entire summer. We're in the midst of it right now. Temperatures notch up another degree or two compared to today. 96 today in Lafayette, tomorrow 97 or 98. And this weekend, 98, perhaps 99 on Saturday, and about 97, 98 on Sunday. So big heat, but we're not dealing with a hurricane, so we're blessed there. So let's take a look at the big picture. Let's look at Dorian as we remain dialed into the Carolina radars here and put things in motion over the last 6 hours. And we've been watching the eye. It's not nearly as organized as it was this time last night, but still a very high-end Category 2 storm. The eye wall just about staying offshore from Myrtle Beach earlier today, now just going south of Wilmington. Now, mind you, Wilmington got slammed last year with another storm that is escaping me right now. I know we had Michael and we had Florence last year. Really intense weather here where they had 30, 40 inches of rain. Now, that is just staying offshore. Fortunately, the strongest rain bands. And you can see it's moving generally to the north, northeast, a little bit better clip, but eventually it's going to be hitting land and the outer banks of the Carolinas. This is where I expect the highest winds to be. Storm surge still a major issue. Heavy rainfall on the order of up to 10 to 15 inches of rain, mostly now in North Carolina. And notice South Carolina conditions continue to improve. Still some tropical rain bands, but the threat of heavy rain over there, but not so for North Carolina this evening. Now, as we look at the water vapor imagery, we see the storm off to the east, high pressure off to our north and west, remnants of that other tropical system moving into Mexico, and it's just a hot, dry pattern, and we're pile driving that dry air all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico, and that high pressure will only strengthen in the wake of this storm. So let's switch it over to the satellite imagery. And I thought I had a really good long loop for you to show, but I guess it's not going to happen. May show up a little bit later on. But Category 2 storm moving out to sea here eventually by tomorrow evening, but again going right along the coast of North Carolina and then finally moving out to sea. And as I mentioned in that first weather hit, this is going to be a big storm, big wind field. So tropical storm warnings in effect south of Long Island. Tropical storm warnings in effect for Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and also Nantucket. And then you get up into Maine as well. And look, hurricane watches now. This is new tonight for portions of Nova Scotia, and tropical storm watches as you get into Newfoundland. So this is going to be felt all the way up through Canada down the line. So let's get into the next graphic and we'll see what we have here. I'm so mad that I had this nice long loop here for you, but that's not going to happen tonight. Maybe not right now. But I did want to show you the wind field here. This is looking at the high resolution rapid refresh model. 70, 80 mile an hour winds right along the immediate coast of North Carolina. Notice Hatteras and Nags Head. Watch how the winds pick up here. There could be some strong rain bands that could produce up to 100 mile an hour winds. These are gusts, and then finally moving out to sea thereafter. Here's the long loop. So we get a bonus 6 days worth of satellite imagery of Dorian, and I cringe every time I see this deepening to a Cat 5 and then slowing as it went through portions of the Bahamas, through the Abaco Islands and then Grand Bahama. And look at the way it just sat here. That's why there was just so much damage. After a while, the storm started upwelling cooler water. It kind of hurt itself because it was in one location. Then it got away from that and it went back over warmer water. And you can see how the eye got better organized yesterday going into last night, and now moving all the way up through the South and North Carolina coast here. I thought it was a pretty cool loop to watch, also to cringe to, as this is certainly a high-end storm. Elsewhere in the tropics, we don't have a whole lot going on. A couple of little things that only have a 10% chance of development going that way, 10% that way. Gabrielle, tropical storm moving that way, might become a hurricane but not affecting anybody. But this tropical wave, we'll keep an eye on that one, especially 10, 14 days down the road if it survives its trek across the Atlantic. Mid-70s tonight, tomorrow, mid-90s to upper 90s. That heat index well over 100. We stay in the mid-70s again tomorrow night to upper 70s in spots. And then as we head into Saturday, mid to upper 90s, I think will be a few degrees warmer for afternoon afternoon highs than the readings that we're showing you here. And then on top of that, you got the old heat index, which is going to be climbing tomorrow, 105 in Lafayette, but it's going to be even higher as we go into Saturday and Sunday. So a toasty evening out there, mid-70s to low 74, maybe a little bit too generous. Then tomorrow we'll go 98, 97 to 98 degrees for the high. Not much wind, so it's going to feel awfully hot out there for tomorrow, and much the same as we go down the line into the weekend. Upper 90s, the hottest reading so far this summer. We've hit 98 twice in Lafayette. We'll probably hit it 3 times over the next 2 to 3 days, well, 3 days each day.
And maybe even hotter too, huh?
Might see triple digits, especially northern portions of Acadiana. You get up to Opelousas, Phil Platt, might hit 100 degrees as soon as tomorrow, but more than likely this weekend.
All right, thanks, Rob.